Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I can already see that we've got people from Italy, Portugal, UK, Denmark, Los Angeles, Finland, all over. So a very warm welcome to you. So our webinar today is all about discovering how to build digital escape rooms. And as always, you'll get an email after the webinar has finished, and we'll include all of the links for you. So if you miss any of the links, then don't worry. Hi, lots of nice comments coming through. I must say that today we've had a record number of signups. We've had over 1,000 people that have signed up to watch the webinar, either live or watch it afterwards. So a huge welcome to you all. But of course, it's not just me. No, we've got our webinar team for you. And I'd like to introduce Kyla, resident Kyla. How are you doing, Kyla?
I'm doing okay. How are you, Louise?
I'm good. The weather is getting warmer here in the north of Scotland. So yeah, I'm not cuddled up with my blankie that I was earlier on. But you're going to be looking after our chat today.
I am answering all the questions I can. So that'll be me answering your questions, everybody.
Thanks, Kyla. And yes, please do keep your questions coming, and we'll do our best to make sure that everyone gets a response. And give us a shout out as well, because we'll be able to put you on the screen. Hi, El Michelle from Florida. It's amazing. So many people joining here. Lots of people who are our trainers as well joining us, which is great to see. So Kyla, I'm going to send you back to the green room to get answering all those comments, but we'll see you a bit later on. So we do have a lovely deck for you as well, which you'll get in the email. So there's lots of links on all of the slides for you. But it's my great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Andreas. Hi, Andreas. How are you?
Hello, Louisa. I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be part of the webinar today. And yes, I've been waiting for it the whole week, and I couldn't wait to engage with you and Claudia.
Oh, no, it's a real pleasure. And you've created an escape room, which you're going to be sharing, and an amazing planning document as well that we're going to be giving to everybody so they can use it as a template to plan their own digital escape rooms as well. And anyone can get in touch with you. You're a German speaker as well. So if anybody in Germany is watching and you want to have a German conversation in your natural language with Andreas, then please do get in touch. But you can't sing the Barbara song.
Not yet. Like I've been practicing a bit, but it's not great yet. So I'm sorry. But I'll be working on it for sure. But yeah, like everyone is really happy to reach out to me, regardless of whether you're from Germany or not. So yes, plus just feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to connect.
Great. And of course, your planning template is incredible. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. But we've also got the most wonderful, and people will remember Claudia from the last webinar, because Claudia actually stood in for Kyla, and now she's part of the team. So hello, Claudia. How are you?
Hello, how are you guys? So I'm so excited to be here. Oh my God, super emotional. I will be one of your hosts today. Get ready to discover tips and tricks to create amazing escape room with us. We'll cover everything from puzzle design to immersive storytelling. So let's dive in and unlock the secrets to creating unforgettable adventures. You can see I love drama. You can see that, right? You can see that.
That was so much better than mine.
That was amazing. And if anybody's not seen Claudia before, do get in touch with Claudia. On the slides, I've put a link to your link tree so they can connect with you on social media. And Aosta Valley, so you are in the shadow of the mighty Mont Blanc, aren't you? So yes, just a beautiful valley that some of us might get the special gift of seeing some point if we ever go skiing, but it's certainly the place to go, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's very, very special. So the reason that we're putting on this webinar for you, and I must say, not only is it a record attendance, but we've got people who work in education, We've got people that work in business as well, people that are learning and development, specialists, instructional designers. So you will get something from this no matter what sector that you work in, because we've made sure that we're showing you examples and principles and tips and tricks from all kinds of digital escape rooms. But we're doing this because the webinar that we had 2 weeks ago featuring Sarah and Jessica, and if you missed it, you can go and watch it on the catch up. They showed their escape room, which was absolutely incredible. And in their escape room, they actually had learning outcomes that were taken from the content of the instructors in the Ohio State University. So they were able to create this escape room, and I'll just be able to go in and show you a little bit of it because it is absolutely fantastic. So here you enter the year that the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was published, and then you're going in now into this fantastic drawing room, and there's lots and lots of really super different kind of puzzles and things for you to get involved in. And I'm just going to stop that because that is now making lots of noise in the background. So if you didn't see that one, go back and have a look at it. But yeah, just phenomenal design, and it was actually evaluated incredibly well, and the learners participating found that, you know, the way that they were able to achieve those learning outcomes it was so much more enjoyable for them and had those powerful moments of impact. So my first question, and I'd love you all to join in, because digital escape rooms have become so popular recently. And I mean, it's not just because of the technology being available. I think people are creating new ways to create these immersive experiences. But over to you first, Claudia. And if you're in the chat, you can put what you think, what are the benefits of digital escape rooms. This will give us a nice grounding to go on to the next stages of how we build them. But Claudia, what was your kind of motivation for starting to design digital escape rooms?
Well, it's because it's not the same bread and butter. It's different, it's engaging, it's motivating, it sharpens your mind and keeps your brain active because it improves problem solving skills and boosts memory functions. So it's not the book. The book is amazing. I don't want you to say differently, but this is another way of learning. This is a way that provides effective communication, collaboration. It encourages teamwork, and you can share ideas, and you don't have to be afraid to go the extra mile to show who you are, because maybe your how can I say, your contribution will be essential to solve a clue, and this clue will be it will allow you to open a lock, and this lock will open an amazing extra door, and this is just major. So I think that this is another way of teaching and learning, and that's why I love escape rooms, because it's also, they are also confidence boosters, and because when you win a challenge, you find a clue and you feel a strong sense of achievement, and this is what we want for students, to feel motivated, to feel that they, you know, that they're not learning for the sake of it. They can collaborate, exactly, Kate, they can collaborate, and they can, you know, create meaningful learning, and it's not that difficult after all. They can do it with a smile as well. So I love it.
Excellent. Thanks, Claudia. There's some amazing comments coming through. Thank you, everybody. Engaging, testing, all of that, thinking, interactive. And I'd also like to go over to Andreas now. Andreas, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the benefits. And then we are going to go over to how we build them. Someone's asking us to go on to that.
So first of all, Kyla, thanks for pinging all those amazing comments. Like I was just reading through them while Claudia was talking. That is already some amazing input. So, and from my perspective, I always like to see it from two viewpoints. First, that it's very beneficial for the students to to develop so many different competencies, which Claudia already emphasized on, from problem solving to critical thinking, from system thinking, that they have to kind of understand how certain puzzles or riddles are also connected and how it brings them eventually to a solution. But the other perspective, and here I'm talking from the designer perspective, for those people who creating those escape rooms, I think once I started creating digital escape rooms, I've never been so creative in my life. It really helped me to develop myself, to have a better contextual understanding of all the content I'm trying to implement, because I'm doing all the research and I'm thinking on how can I make it accessible for everyone, what I have to do, how do I tweak a certain escape room to make it feasible for every student to reach the end. So I think there is so many advantages for both learners as well as educators. And yeah, I just simply can't get enough.
Thanks, Andreas. So I also think that, and this is very much part of building digital escape rooms, is understanding, the tools that you're going to be using in building them. And obviously, this is a webinar hosted by ThingLink, and there are a lot of people that have signed up today that have never used ThingLink before. So I think it's really important to just show some of the ways in which you can use ThingLink to build the escape room. So ThingLink, think again. So ThingLink, as many of you know, was developed by Ulla Maria Koivula, and her vision was that we could learn by interacting with our environments, very much based on Vygotsky's theory of interaction. But she wanted to say that anything can be an interface for learning, and that's both the physical world and, of course, then creating virtual worlds. That was back in 2011. And if we look at the evolution of learning technologies and ThingLink since then, I think it's really important to call out that, some 13 years ago, ThingLink was about creating interactive learning experiences. And then, just some 5 years ago, we were able to make 360 images and videos interactive. And that's when the notion of immersive learning came into our phraseology. But obviously, since then, things have evolved incredibly in the last 2 years. We've now added AI-assisted creation, and that includes the ability to generate your own 360 images, generate your own images, but also we've introduced augmented reality. So even in building digital escape rooms, you could then build an escape room in your classroom using AI. There are so many possibilities with this. And of course, at the moment, we're really thinking about the future with what we would call spatial computing and mixed reality headsets. And obviously those are coming out. But yes, and I'm just going to answer that in a second. Someone's just asking, is it possible to use ThingLink escape rooms with VR headsets? And this is the suite of tools that ThingLink now offers. You've got your original ThingLink editor and the tags that you can use to create those transitions from one room to another. But we've also got our own course creator where you can build those branching learning experiences. So all of this adds up to immersive learning made easy, which is what we do best. And it's not just about headsets. Those escape rooms could be shared by link or embed code. So you could put it as a lesson within Google Classroom. People could view that individually or on their own personal devices, depending on your setup. And that will work on tablets, laptops, Macs, and Chromebooks. But then you could also use it as a class or group experience or activity if you're using the board at the front of a classroom, an interactive panel, a screen or projector. And some colleges, universities, and workplaces are already starting to use immersive experience spaces. So that's when you might have your projectors facing the four walls and you can interact with that 360 image. And I've even seen Harry Potter style wands.
Amazing.
You can click on the interactive elements and it will take you through. And then, of course, it will work on the VR headset. So someone just asked if it was possible to use ThingLink escape rooms with a VR headset. And yes, absolutely, it is possible. So I thought that was really important to share, because it is about the way that you create them and you share them with people that are participating in your escape rooms. So some of the tips and tricks just to start with how you can build your escape rooms. So I'm just going to click on this image here, which is actually a ThingLink that I've created. Now, what you'll see is if I go into the edit mode and then I go into my settings, I can actually toggle something on called the guided mode. And what this does is that it'll make sure that one tag will play after another. So in this way, you can guide people through that escape room. But what you can also do now is turn on a locked mode, so that when you click the done button and done again here, they now have to get something or to read something in that tag before it unlocks the next one. So that's a really good way of being able to make sure that people go through all of those tags and in sequence. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show you, which I think a lot of people maybe don't see, is that you can see here that I've got this question mark, and this is our transit tag. And if I go back to the editor and I click on this transit tag, you can see I can add in a conditional transition. And what this means is that you can put an answer in as a multiple choice, and they've got to get that correct. Or you could have a free text, so they have to put in the correct passphrase or word. So already you're starting to scaffold what that answer would be in order to click on that tag. And of course, now when I click the done button again, I'm just going to take that off the locked mode, so I don't need to go through it all again with you. But if I click on here, it asks me the question and I've got to get it right. If I select 3, that's wrong, try again. I know there's 5 different ways to go through that growth sequence, and now I'm ready to go into my next scene. So that hopefully helps you to see that you can use those to create your transitions and your tags in between. So I think that's probably enough of me now. We're going to answer the question, how do you start to build your digital escape room? And if you've got any tips that you want to share, please do put them on the chat. But I'm going to hand over to Andreas now, who's going to share his screen and share his planning documents with you. So Andreas, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Louise. And please interrupt me, since I don't have two screens. So if you have anything to add, or if there are any comments I should answer, please go ahead and interrupt me and I will stop talking. Okay. I will share my screen. Here we go. I hope you can see my screen all right. So the way I always like to start creating escape rooms is to create something more formal, something where I can keep track of the whole planning process, and that I can also use later at the end to refer back to when I need some other information. So that is where I came up with a master sheet, or like a template that you can use for any kinds of digital escape rooms, where you can insert your game name, the topic, subject, and just in the beginning, I would advise you to look at the broader picture. So what are the learning objectives? What are the learning objectives your students would like to achieve on a larger scale, but also what is the activity for? And just to give it a bit more of an educational value to the escape room, since a lot of those escape rooms are also used for entertaining purposes. However, they are so much more than only entertaining. So this already helps to already give a certain educational point to that. And then you can just, I call this section the formal section. So you can insert your target group, the age, what the formation is, whether the escape room is meant to be solved individually or as a team, to provide a time limit if needed, what the actual purpose is of your escape room, if it's a skill development, assessment, onboarding, training, and so on. And I only included a few, and I'm sure there are many more, but those are just the ones I could think on top of my head. And then what kind of structure your digital escape room will follow, whether it is linear, open, sequential, and so forth. And you don't have to remember all of them. At the end of this template, and Louisa will share that with all of you later in an email, you have actually definitions of each structure type plus an example where you can just delve in and try to solve the escape rooms yourself. But it just helps you to get a better understanding of what those structures will look like. And then you basically start creating your main story, which is most essential to the escape room itself, just to keep get the learners engaged and captivated. And once you have your main story outline, you can break it up into different scenes. And as I said, this document just really helps you to keep track of what you would like to implement, what tools and medias you would like to use. Most essential is the answer key, because you will create a lot of puzzles and riddles, and it's really hard to keep track of the answers from all of them. So it can get quite confusing and tricky. So filling out this document will really help you later on, and I will show you an example how it looks like once it's done. And here is the planning document I created for my own escape room. I'm not gonna go through, but I just wanted to put it on screen so you know how it can look like. Okay, so after you filled in the planning document, you can start to go over to the fun part, which is creating the media. And I will just go to my ThingLink window. And here I would always advise you to start with a starting scene, since it will help your learners to, wrong button, to better understand what is the escape room actually about, what is their learning objectives, which I included here, what are the rules of the game, what tools they need, and of course I also like to
Welcome to the vibrant town of Green Grove.
The story in there. And here I would like to give a shout out to my colleague Maria, who helped me out to
Welcome to the vibrant
my
town
narrator
of Green Grove.
of
A group of young friends discovered something extraordinary. Their town.
Yes. So once this is done, you can go back to your planning document. And since now everything is in there, you can just follow along and go from one scene to the next. So here, as I planned my escape room, I already inserted all the characteristics and items my AI generated image should include. So I will just copy and paste that into my media generation. So instead of thinking back, okay, after you created the whole escape room, what have I done in the first scene? What characters do I need? What set would I need? You already kept track of it from the very beginning. And then you just click on generate. And while the image is being generated, I would like to share a blog post with you that Louisa just recently published, which will talk you through how to create excellent prompts for DA AI generation. Because I know sometimes those generated pictures or images, for that matter, can be quite let's say creative. So it's always good to give them clear prompts that the image generation is also very straightforward. And here we go. The image basically shows everything that I needed and that I asked for. So I would be very happy to use it, but for the sake of this webinar, I already created all the media ahead of time that I needed. So based on my planning document, I included a receipt. Just gonna turn the audio off. I included a receipt that I created with a specific website that Claudia will share with you later on. And she has many, many more resources which you will benefit from for sure. And
Andreas, just
yes.
to point out, we've had a really good question there. Somebody has said, where is the AI generated picture generator? It's all built into ThingLink. So when you go to create your ThingLink, you now get the option to use your own assets, or you can generate your assets directly in your ThingLink account, and that includes 360. And I'll go on and show you 360 images as well a little bit later on.
Thank you so much for answering that question. And as I said, please go ahead and interrupt me. I unfortunately cannot see my other screen. So yeah, now basically after I created the image, you can now go ahead and insert all the information or media you would need for your escape room. And here I advise you to always use tools such as ChatGPT or other AI tools to help you out in that. All right. And then you just continue doing this process over and over again. So if you go on to the second scene, I have my narrative, the challenge the learners need to solve, my AI prompt, which I now can again copy and paste, and all the text, media, and my answer keys. And for the sake of the webinar, I also created that one ahead of time. And again, here's everything that I needed. And with AI generated images, you always have to be careful when it comes to details, because sometimes they're either not visible or very exaggerated. So what I would like to do, instead of pointing out the details in the prompts, I just create extra images or media that I connect to the base scene. And yes, you just do that and connect all your scenes together and all the information and media you will need for that scene. And I will just pause the audio in the background. And yes.
Amazing. Yeah, just saying there's some awesome comments coming through. Just want to say as well, we will be sharing with you all of the planning sheets in the email that you'll get as a result of signing up to the email, the webinar. You'll get an email through with everybody. So yeah, I mean, it just looks fantastic, Andreas. What do you think? Was it easy to put it together? You found that the planning sheet really helped?
The planning sheet helped so much. And I'm not the person who likes to plan a lot. So it was also a bit tedious for me to actually put all the information in there. But after everything was set, I could just copy and paste and just go ahead with the media. And I did not have to think back, wait, hang on, what kind of media would I like to implement? What websites did I use? What are the answer keys? Because everything is stored in the document. So I could just go back and forth, and with the document, it was just fairly easy to create everything.
Yeah. And someone else has just made a comment. Could they use an image of a room in their school? Of course, if you take with your iPhone, you can take one panoramic image, upload it to ThingLink, and we'll turn it into a photosphere for you. And I can show you exactly where that is as well in a short moment. I am going to bring Claudia back on, because Claudia, it's just so great to see it all come to life, because we've seen the document and seeing it come to life now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So Now I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I'm
Thanks,
going to
Andreas.
share with you.
You're welcome.
Let me see, share screen. I'm going to start with a digital notebook that I create especially for this occasion. And I hope you see, guys, my screen. Is that okay? Can you see that? Of course. No. Yes, no?
Yes, we can see it. It's all good.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is basically a notebook, an interactive notebook that I created for you for the occasion. And you go onto this paper and there is a to-do list. So the first things is, as Andreas said, to plan ahead. What would you like your students to work on? What skills would you like them to develop? It doesn't matter the subject that you want to, to build your escape room on, but any K-12 subject would do. And even above K-12, because, escape room is just not for students, even for adults that are learning to, a new job, for example. So basically what you can do, you jot down ideas and you understand where students should go and give them clear, achievable goals that make students go, I can do that. So no one is left behind. And this is, for me, is very, very important, because my escape room should be very, very inclusive. And then, of course, challenges should be diversified to increase engagement. People, so our students should work together. And of course, by working together and with these challenges, they will develop problem solving and creative thinking. And I always want to add the extra mile, like always does Vygotsky. So the inputs plus one, that is to say, I always be there for them. I will always provide support just above the current level of the learner's ability to promote growth, because for me it's very important. So they won't lose face and they will feel engaged and motivated to go along the road and not to be scared to fail, because there is no way of failing because they're working together. The fourth point is to build colorful, immersive scenarios. So here I just jot down some ideas. You need to be clear, you need to be specific, you need to give context and sensory descriptions, give directions, artistic and stylistic, and avoid ambiguity. So use precise language, positive and negative prompts, include elements. For example, don't put this, but put that. And you have to iterate and refine. So you have to generate and evaluate. If it's not working, don't not be scared to do it again. Who cares? You can do it again. It's in ThingLink. It's amazing. We can do that. We can create the amazing setting for our storytelling and for our immersive escape room. And last but not least is my Wakelet collection that I'm going to share with you guys. So this collection is a collection that basically help you create an immersive escape room, an interactive escape room that is full of riddles, full of puzzles, full of newspaper generator, clipping generator. So you can basically create your newspaper beats in order to be more engaging, and to maybe you can ask your students to create the newspaper clip for the escape room. You can create images, you can create puzzles. Of course, well, math, I'm not that good because I teach English, so I'm not that good with math, but I just included that, to be fair, just to be fair. Then, of course, if you want to make your story more believable, you can use the 5-minute history. So basically, you've got interesting things from history, and you can include that in your immersive storytelling. And then the one that I love that I used in my escape room, fake text message, fake concert ticket generator. Oh my God, students will go crazy for these things because they just love it. They just love it. And then, of course, I'm just gonna go up.
Can I just say really quickly, this
Yeah.
Wakelet is something that everyone has been asking for. It's the best collection of puzzles that I have ever seen, and we will send this out to you with the link to the notebook and the link to the Wakelet. All of that's going to come to you. I just want to clarify that with ThingLink, you can generate questions in the scenario builder. You can generate tags. There's lots of things you can do. What Claudia is showing you is all of the other third-party tools which you can use and then embed into the embed tag. So what we want to do is show you how we play nicely with all the other tools. And we're not just showing you ThingLink here. We're using ThingLink for the base media. And then we're using different types of tags to link it all together. And this is just phenomenal, Claudia.
Oh, thank you. But we're going to share with everyone this, and this is so important. So, you know, sharing is caring. So I love doing that. I'm going to show you what I did with my escape room. So I started in medias res. That is to say, I created a message coming from a certain rabbit that was very, very late. And somebody named Alice said, sorry, Woodies, I don't have time to explain. Come with me. The Queen. You want me to come with you to the Queen? Yes, why not? Follow me. And then the story unfolds. Enter at your own risk. So when you enter the escape room, basically you've got all sorts of challenges. This is entirely created with image generator in ThingLink. So here is the magic realm. So students know where they're going. They know what to do step by step. Here is a puzzle generator that I used. Every single challenge has a final clue. When you finish for example, here is a puzzle, and of course this is, you guessed it, Alice in Wonderland. So every single puzzle, when you finish, got a feedback, and when you completed it, there is a clue, a number, something specific that can be combined with other numbers to create something major and to open another room. So this, for example, is vocabulary building, another vocabulary building activity that you see. I just wanted to show it to you. This is the secret code. This is number 2 of the secret code. So on and so forth. You go there, you've got another selection of challenges. And for example, this is spot the differences. And then you have the timeline. So you've got the timeline of the book. So the students can work together in putting the timeline in order, and they can jot down new ideas while having the book at hand. So, you know, it's not 100% digital. You can have the book next to it, so the students can actually study while having fun. So then here, I just decided to create a transit. So here is the clue. There is a transit that you can actually use to go onto another realm. That this is exactly the realm where Alice in Wonderland would see action. Then you got clue number 5, and clue number 5 is deeper learning for characters. So this is all created with ThingLink and artificial intelligence. So can you imagine that? That's amazing. That's amazing. Of course, I use a party app to, you know, to put together.
Can I just really quickly, because that's a really important point somebody's asked. Douglas has asked, can multiple individuals interact in a single escape room synchronously, or can they only interact individually on their devices? So this isn't a metaverse, so people aren't working together. So they would be working synchronously. So they would be working on their own, on their device, of course. So I just wanted to point that out. We haven't got to that meta stage yet, but you can have people work in groups together, as I showed earlier on. People could work either sat in a class with a big screen in front of them, or they could work individually on mobile devices and headsets as well, because the 360 will work in headsets. So we haven't quite got to that metaverse yet, but I just wanted to make sure we answered Douglas's question there.
Of course, but then, you know, how cool is to be in a classroom and working together towards, you know, completing a challenge and, you know, moving along goal after goal. I think this is major. We are not there yet. We will be there in the future. No problem. So
also, I think that's really important to say that this isn't just for teachers to create.
No, of course not.
Students can create this as well. And you know, if we talk about scaffolding experiences, we start by giving ThingLink users, we don't call students users, but we find that students can use ThingLink to create an interactive image, or then create like a portfolio or a virtual field trip. And then all of that scaffolds the ability then to start creating their own escape rooms, and they might share that with other students as a peer assessment type of activity.
Of course. And then they will improve their digital skills, that this is what required nowadays, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just the fact that they're not passive at all. Here, they can be master of their own learning. So now I created it, but my students could create something like that very, very easily. Well, of course, I will be scaffolding them, but then it's not that difficult. With ThingLink, it's very, very easy. And even with third-party apps, it's very easy. You just embed the content within ThingLink and voila, the game is done. So honestly, very easy. Then,
do you know what's really interesting though, going back to what Douglas was saying, is that you find a lot of the tools that provide the metaverse type of experiences aren't created bespoke for the audience. So I think what I'm trying to say is that they're kind of like off-the-shelf experiences, but we're making it easier for the teachers to create these experiences that are going to be contextually relevant for their students, but also based on the learning outcomes that they want their students to achieve. And that might be at any kind of age or stage or level, and who better to know what learning outcomes are going to be right for their students than the teachers. So yeah, I think that's the sort of difference between the kind of metaverse style games experiences. But yeah, just thought. Somebody else has said, do they get any feedback? Well, yes, you could build in a Google form, couldn't you, with feedback?
Yes, I'm going to show you now, because this is not over. This was just a step to get where I'm going to show you now. So basically now I embedded the Genially, and in this Genially, if internet will allow me to see that, in this Genially, basically you have to put a secret code, so a password, and I'm just gonna very, very quickly put it there, and then you will meet Alice and you will talk to her thanks to a chatbot. And so here you will talk to Alice, and Alice, the chatbot, is programmed to be a 10 years old girl with a very short attention span that is ready to talk about her adventure. So basically what you have here is the summary of all the book in one chatbot. And students need to learn how to write the right prompts to get their answers. When they finish all that, it's so easy. They go back, and let me show you. They have a TikTok. And in this TikTok, there are all the major scenes that are related to Alice in Wonderland. So they can have a look at the TikTok. For example, this is so they can have a look at this TikTok, and once they're done, there's the assignment ready. So here you got the assignment, and this is you have to create a book report on Alice in Wonderland. Here is the task explained, and in order for our students not to get confused, I attached a rubric that attends. Of course, this is based for 10th grade students. So this is a rubric for a book report where there are several criteria, and basically students always know where they're going, and they know how to achieve their potential. By following these rules, they will definitely achieve their potential. And it's always, everything is there, the teacher is there, and they can work together to create the book report. How cool is that?
It's amazing. Someone's asking where the chatbot is created that you made, and that'll be in the Wakelet that you share with everybody, won't it?
Yes, of course. Of course, it's Po. Po is amazing because chatbots are actually free, whereas with others are not. But yes, they're actually free. So yes, it's in the Wakelet collection. Don't worry, everything is there. So just for you to use and to browse and to have fun with it, basically.
You are amazing, Claudia. There is so much love for you coming through the chat. And Douglas has just summed it up right. And Off the Shelf has already defined what can and can't be learned in advance. What makes ThingLink powerful is it's created by the folks closest to the learner, specific, not generic. You summed it up.
Right.
We're starting to move on to the last 15 minutes or so of the webinar. Andreas, I want you to come back on because I'm sure you're just brimming with thoughts for Claudia's presentation as well. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's insane, and I told Claudia before, when I created my escape room, I actually used her resources or her Wakelet to create my riddles and my puzzles. So it was hugely beneficial for me. It was a nice summary.
I'm just going to show people a bit more about the 360 generation. If you just want to press Andreas, I think there's a bit of feedback coming through. If you want to, that's it. So on the screen, you'll see that this will link to Claudia. I think there's a little feedback coming from you as well. If you can mute yourself quickly. Is there a bit of feedback coming through?
I'm sorry, I lost the connection for a second and I'm lost. I'm going to find it out.
Can you just mute your microphone whilst I just share some information about the Yes, please. Thanks. Just because there was a bit of feedback there. I don't know if everyone else saw it, but I'm just going to talk you now into creating some of those 360 prompts that we've been showing you. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to go into my ThingLink account. I'm going to hit the create button, and you can see here that I can choose to create an image. And here I can search for an image that we provide, which is a bank of images, about 2 million images. What you can also do is generate with AI, and that takes you to DALL-E. But what you can also do with the 360 image here is generate with AI or use the Pano to 360 tool that someone mentioned. So you can use 360 images that are panoramic you've taken with your mobile phone and then upload. But if I choose to generate with AI here, and then I just go back into that prompt post that I showed you, here I've created a prompt which is going to create for me a I'll just go back into my account, this one. I'm just going to paste that in there, and this is going to generate my image for you. What I've toggled on there is the enhanced prompt, and it enhances my prompt even further. And what I like to do is I like to take that vocabulary that's there and use that to not only demonstrate how I created that prompt, but it can also be a vocabulary list of keywords that you could learn and associate with the image that you're going to create there. That shouldn't take long to pull up. Oh, there we go. It's already done it. So it is quite quick. And here, if I click the continue button now, you can see that that is now in my ThingLink account, and that's ready for me to start adding tags. So if you're already thinking about the kind of text that you want to use to describe your scene in your escape room, you can put that into ThingLink, and with our 360 integration, you can create that and it'll expand your prompt for you. But that's not just the only AI tool that I wanted to show you, because another little thing that I've been working on, and this is not part of ThingLink, but I'm really happy to share this with you, and that is a digital escape room creator chatbot, which is free. This is created with ChatGPT. And if you go into this, you'll be able to get the link in the email. And this is another way of planning your escape room. It's meant to be a leg up to give you a little help. So say, for example, I wanted to create a maths-based escape room. This is then going to ask me some questions. So it's going to ask me a little bit about the age range of the students. So I'll say my students are 13 years old. and I'll just pop that in, and then it will create the escape room for me, and this is giving you that structure. So here we've got the lost math artifact. It's suggesting some different types of puzzles. Here we've got an anagram of geometry, shape matching. So this is just another tool that you can have in your suite of tools that are going to help you to create your perfect escape rooms. And yeah, this will come in the email linked as well, so you'll be able to go through and have a look at that. Thank you.
I've been using it before, and it's fabulous. Like I love playing around with that.
Oh, brilliant. And it's been so popular. I'm really surprised. It's had something like 1,500 hits or so in the last couple of months since I created it. And yeah, I mean, you don't have to put any names in or anything like that. It's just literally put an idea in and it will generate the structure for you. And I've programmed it so it will suggest ThingLink and any other tool as well, like Google Forms or Google Sites, things that are open and freely available to people as well. So do have a play with that. And we are starting to run out of time. So a couple of other points, and I really wanted to make reference to this because we've talked about how to build escape rooms, but also, call out the pedagogy behind it. And I really enjoyed reading about John Sweller's work about cognitive load theory. And I shared this in another group that we're part of for the ThingLink community. And you'll get the link to this in the email as well, to this particular image, which has been shared on Twitter. But the idea of scaffolding that experience is really important. Having the multimodality, so that you might have text and you might have a video that explains the same thing, is going to help to avoid cognitive overload and actually help to scaffold that experience. And I think that that's a really important point to call out. So yes, please do read that when it comes out as well. But of course, other tips and tricks that have come our way. Somebody asked me how to create transparent tags. So say you wanted to have transparent tags in your escape room. So on the deck, when you get it, if you click on to this particular slide, it will take you to my little tips and tricks of how to create a clickable area. So you could have that disguised and people wouldn't see it unless they clicked on it. And if you click on the tag here, it will give you how to download a copy of the file, which you then upload to your custom icons. And that's going to be there for you as well to use. So you can create your own individual invisible icons. So that's a nice resource for you. Okay, so let's ask our resident experts and our community, how do we assess learning through digital escape rooms? And I'm going to come to Andreas first. What were your thoughts about this?
There's so many ways to assess learning in escape rooms, and you can embed so many different websites or even documents in ThingLink where you can access certain assessments for your learners. And if I look back to the escape room that I created, I actually embedded a Google form where the students have to not only put all the information in there that they collected throughout the escape room, but also they have to write a speech, and in order to get the last key to escape the escape room. And that already helps me to get some feedback from them and how they proceeded in the escape room, what they have learned, and whether their answers are correct. And based on the speech, I already have some base to assess their learning on. And this can even be extended by reflecting on the learning objectives. So you can give learners a bit more responsibility, and I love just not pushing my responsibility to them, but getting them to become their to become responsible of their own learning. So instead of me giving them feedback on how they develop throughout this activity, they actually have to reflect on the learning objectives and describe their learning, and like from their perspective, how they achieve the learning objectives. So there are so many different ways. And even on ThingLink, when you use, for example, the scenario builder, you can look up the statistics on how well your learners have been proceeded throughout the scenario.
That's amazing. And there's some great feedback coming through as well, from people who are saying that successfully escaping could be an assessment in itself. But over to you, Claudia. What's your thoughts about assessment?
Well, I think Andreas kind of summed it all. Ali said a lot. The only thing I would like to say, when you create basically an assessment, or when you create a challenge, the challenge should be aligned with the learning objectives and should require students to demonstrate understanding to the progress. And it should be modular. It doesn't have to be so difficult that the students will, lose faith and say, oh, but I will never be able to do that. It should start with an easy peasy task, and then going further, that gets more and more difficult, in order for them, to build strengths and motivation, and not to be scared of the new challenges ahead. And I totally agree with our listener, our viewer, saying that escaping the room could be, an assessment in itself. Correct, totally correct. Yes, but then if you want to go the extra mile, you can do something, different, in order to acquire the different intelligence that our students have. Yeah,
amazing. And I love doing kind of pre and post like discussions with students as well, to get some qualitative feedback about how they felt about engaging in it. But also, and I think that this is probably one of the most powerful aspects, is encouraging students to create their own escape rooms, and then collaborating on those, working in groups. Because if you think about all the digital media literacy skills, how they organize their media files, how they choose their tags, what the tag icon is, does it match what's in the tag itself? There's so many nice ways in which you can build in both intended and unintended learning outcomes from those. And I'm a big fan of student creation. Just a few minutes left. So
and
all I
want to say, the students will love to challenge their teachers.
Exactly.
Of course.
So I am jetting off to Denver on Saturday. If you want to come and speak to me at ISTE, I would love to see you. We don't have a booth, but we'll be floating. And there's a QR code there that takes you to a ThingLink that's got a contact form in. If you fill that out, we'll be able to follow up with you. And we also have our ThingLink Certified Trainer Program, which Claudia is one, and we just love to invite our trainers to come and be part of our webinars and support their webinars as well, and truly create a community that supports each other. And also, if you are watching and you've signed up via the blog post, you'll get an email afterwards, and we'll also include a certificate of attendance from both myself, Claudia, and Andreas. So all that's left, I think, is for me to stop sharing my screen and to invite Kyla back on. Kyla, thank you so much for helping out with the comments. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic webinar. Thanks, Claudia. Thanks, Andreas. So much inspiration.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Ila.
It's amazing to see so many people. Honestly, it's just been fantastic to have your engagement as well and your questions, because they all help. So all that's left for us to say is, well, for myself, on behalf of the whole ThingLink team, I want to say a huge thank you to Claudia. We love having you in our community, and yeah, just are so pleased that you can share with us all of your ideas. It's just truly fantastic. And Andreas, On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you for being part and representing our ThingLink team on the webinar, and to Kyla for helping out, and of course to everybody watching. You know, we wouldn't be putting on these webinars if we didn't know that you were all going to get something out of it, and I've certainly got a lot out of it as well today. But thank you so much. We'll be in touch with news of other webinars as well, and just amazing to see all the comments coming through. I hope we had time to answer all the questions, but do keep in touch with us, and have a safe journey home if you're heading home from work or from school. If you're watching this in the evening, hope you're having a lovely rest of the evening, and take care, everybody. So a big thank you and goodbye from us. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Thanks.
you.